Newsfirst Newsline with Faraz Shauketaly.
And a very good morning to you. This is Newsline, live from the Newsfirst studios in Dawson Street in Colombo and broadcasting on TV1. And this morning, joining us on the set is the news editor of the Island newspaper, Mr. Shamindra Ferdinando. Very good morning to you, Mr. Ferdinando.
Good morning.
And thank you very much for coming on our set this morning. And did you have a good weekend? Lots of work?
Not really, lots of work. Lot of work, yes.
And why, Mr. Ferdinando, do I get this feeling, judging from all the coverage of the different newspapers, that there is some sort of haste, perhaps even indecent haste, in controlling the media? Surely there's lots of other rather gut things that need to be addressed rather than, well, why this sudden focus on the media?
It's not sudden, Faraz. Actually, if you see, immediately after the Yahapalna government came into power in January 2015, we had this bond scam in February 2015. So in the run-up to the the parliament elections in August 2015, there were a number of reports on this bond scam and the failure on the part of the Yahapalna government to take action against those who were responsible. So that was the beginning. So even at the onset of this administration, since March 2015, June 2015, it's under tremendous pressure over this issue. The central bank issue, it's up to now they have failed to address it. So it's the main issue. In addition to that, the constitutional, there are ongoing efforts to introduce a brand new constitution for Sri Lanka. It's also in serious trouble. I mean, there's opposition to it, and although the government feels that it can somehow push it through, there's opposition. So there are on several fronts, on the central bank front, there's constitutional affairs issues, and Geneva also. So number of issues affecting the government. So and then especially reports concerning corruption in the public sector. So
current corruption.
Certainly, yes, because see, this government came into power accusing the previous administration of vast-scale robbery of wealth, public sector funds, national wealth. So having come into power, promising a clean government, a number of serious accusations against this government over the past 18 months.
There are some statistics, Mr. Ferdinando, that is perhaps representative of what this government is actually not doing. For example, during the floods in May, there was around 580,000 people affected. The government allocated 890,000. That's about 1,443 rupees per person. Then you compare that with the government allocation for members of parliament in terms of their transport. 2.9 billion. That's 2,900 million rupees allocated for their comfort or for their betterment, whatever. But these flood victims got virtually $10 each. 1,443 is the figure I got there. Isn't that a symbol of the government having got their priorities completely and utterly lopsided?
Faraz, it's not fair to blame only this government. All the governments.
Yes, but it doesn't make it right, does it?
No,
they've all done it, but I'm talking current.
Certainly not. I mean, I don't see any difference between the politicians. I mean, as long as they get their privileges, you will see they will fight for their privileges.
Yeah.
Now, I've seen, you must have seen Bandula, MP Bandula Gunawardena on television, defending their right to receive duty-free car permits. So they'll disagree with Yahapalana government on every issue, but when it comes to privileges for members of parliament, all major political parties, they stand together, including the TNA. So there's no big difference. I mean, if you see the public sector, people have to work until they are 55 to receive pension. Our honorable MPs, they just complete one term. They get pension rights. So that's a special law.
One term of parliament.
Yes, certainly. So
does it count if the president announces the parliament 6 months before its due date, which he's entitled to do now under the new 19th Amendment?
Yeah. I mean, you complete one term, 5 years now.
Right.
This government. So all members will receive full pension rights. So the politicians and their families and their kith and kin, they are okay. They are no big issue. I mean, you will realize now, see, the people complain of, especially the Tamil-speaking people in the north, they have suffered a lot during the war.
Indeed.
Now, you will see that members of parliament representing the TNA, they have also obtained these duty-free car permits.
Right.
Millions worth. So they ask the government, various other NGOs to help the people up north. Whereas they utilize public funds for their benefits. So that's the truth. So nothing has changed actually,
So how do they get themselves a boost even? How do you get them to change?
I really don't know, Faraz. I don't think so. I don't think this system can be changed easily, because they will stand together. See, the opposition today or the previous opposition, they will always try to capture power with all the perks and privileges intact.
Right.
Now, they will now see the opposition. The joint opposition will demand that there should be an investigation into central bank bond scam. But is it the only case of corruption? There are so many cases. If you check the COPE reports, PAC reports produced, submitted to Parliament, you will realize there are so many cases. But so far, no action has been taken. So this situation will continue unless people decide to elect a new political party. There is no new political party also. So whom to vote?
I see. It's all looking very, very sad, really.
Certainly.
And so the people continue to suffer and pay more and more and more.
Certainly. Yes. Now, as an example, we have names of nearly 80 members of parliament who have received this tax facility, ranging from 30 million to 44 million.
That's the profit they make on selling their permit?
No. That's the exemption of tax. 30 to 44 million.
The exemption on the tax that that you and I would have paid.
Certainly.
But which they are not paying.
Yes. So
this is not the profit on the
not the profit. I'm sure now a tax, say a permit worth 30 million. They can easily sell it for 20 to 25 million.
Right.
And keep that money. And you raised this issue with Honorable Faisal Mustafa. And during that interview, the minister admitted, he acknowledged that in addition to the permit, they receive a loan to bring the vehicle. So not bad. I mean, they are a very lucky lot, the politicians in this country. And
talking about loans, Mr. Mustafa, I think he actually did mention a figure, and he said anyway, it was a concession.
Yes.
Now
he said 9%.
9. I think he said 9.
Yes.
Now then,
maybe less. I think we should check.
We need to fact check.
Yes, certainly.
Right, that's good, because one of our viewers has actually suggested that we introduce a system where we fact check all the things that politicians say from time to time, which I think is a splendid idea, and which we're putting it to most of these things are fact checked anyway. But thank you for that suggestion, actually. But in that context, Shamindra, if we had a look, the press were talking about this, and there is a document that purports to be from the PM's office. But be that as it may, in the sense that it's not confirmed, there is a loan facility that has been, in the past tense, been negotiated between a Japanese bank and the RDA with state guarantee. And the insurance on that loan, it's a loan for a facility of $1 billion for Section 3 of the Central Expressway. And that loan, the rate being charged for the insurance component is 10.07%, according to this document which has come from the Prime Minister's office. Now, I want to say this. We are in 2016, nearly coming up to 2017. Under the former government of Rajapaksa and so on, after the war, they took a conscious decision that the insurance premium will not be anything more than, I think they said 6%. It was in single digits anyway. And pray, what has changed in Sri Lanka in the last 7 years after the war that would increase our risk in the eyes of an insurer to up this to 10.07%? And that money has to be paid up front, whether you're going to use this money for this project or not, and however much this project is going to cost. Because right now we don't know how much it's going to cost. There's only engineering estimates, and that's going to be around $700 or $800 million. But the
$million?
Yes, but the project, the facility is for $1 billion, 10.07%. And then the MPs are helping themselves to concessionary rates of interest. It's absolutely astonishing. There's something completely wrong in this whole system. And this tender is, even though it's not a Japanese government-aided project, it's not a government-to-government project. And therefore, if it was, then it'd be only open to Japanese contractors. Here, it's a commercial transaction, and it is being closed to just now, for first time around, for 3 companies. 2 of them had no experience. The third was the favored one. They on purpose or whatever, by design or omission, they didn't supply the bid bond. So now they recalled the tender. This time they added one more name, so it's 4 contractors. We already know that 2 don't qualify. So it's obviously this favored one. This time round, no doubt, they'll supply the bid bond. But they didn't open it to all Japanese contractors. That's my point. They closed it to 4 Japanese contractors. And it's not JICA funded. And we have a letter from the Japanese ambassador, for heaven's sake. He's responding to a question, a letter from the chairman of the RDA. There's no business in doing this. He's completely gone against the national procurement guidelines.
Yes, Faraz, so it's continuing. So
it's continuing.
Yeah, so it's continuing. I mean, you can see since 2015 January, as far as corruption, waste and irregularities are concerned, nothing has changed. It's same lot, and this will continue. And the possibility of certain foreign elements cooperating in this kind of thing cannot be ruled out, because see, you cannot do it. I mean, it's the Japanese authorities involved, so they are also aware. So there is a possibility of there's some, if it's true, if this document is genuine.
That's right.
There's a possibility that somebody else is also involved.
And we are told that the agent representing this bank in terms of this facility is a somewhat youthful character with connections to the heart of the Prime Minister's office. That's as far, I think, as I can go without actually disclosing the name.
Yes.
Suffice to say that it appears that in this country the old boy network is strong and robust as it's never been before.
Is it only in this country for us? See, you take politicians, political parties, people in power, you take India, you take Pakistan, you take US, UK, Cameron's case, Panama Papers. You know, the politicians world over are corrupt. And we must realize that Sri Lankans tend to believe that it's only the SLAP-led UPFA and the UMP led this government. No. Yeah. You know, the politicians all over, I believe, they are the same. If you, I mean, the international media always give coverage to corruption in the Western world, in other countries, in the Arab world, so it's nothing new.
Now then, I have two questions here. One's posed to you. Would you, if you become a Member of Parliament, refuse the duty-free permit? Secondly, also, why don't all the armchair critics be an MP for a day only and see what the MP has to go through in facing the demands of the people? Today the voter is only interested in what he gets in a monetary sense. This system should change. The electoral system now is the start of all this. Do you agree? There's about 3 questions there. Would you refuse to have a duty-free permit if you became a Member of Parliament?
No, there's no likelihood of Shamin Ferdinando contesting or going to Parliament through the national list.
Right.
No way. So that's it. I mean, I'm a journalist.
Yeah.
So I'm not a politician. I have no intention of joining politics. Never.
Okay. But today, you know, when this person says, why, obviously is a former Member of Parliament, must be. Also, why don't all the armchair critics be MP for one day only and see what an MP has to go through? Oh dear, I feel so sorry for this person that I'm going to ask the producer to bring me some man-sized tissues because I'm going to burst into tears. It's, you know, I feel so sorry for this guy.
And,
you know.
and Faraz, you know, I just want to tell you one thing.
Yeah.
Watch iChannel.
Yes.
Now these days, there's live coverage, right? Every time a minister or member of Parliament speaks, to see the background, all empty chairs. These honourable members of Parliament do not even go to Parliament, right? They skip Parliament. That's the truth, right?
Maybe
all political parties.
Maybe they've become home workers now because of the internet. Maybe they're sat at home, and with the internet, maybe that's what they're doing. They're working from home like a lot of people do.
Faraz, you know, in accordance with the proposed constitutional changes, there's a likelihood of the number of MPs in Parliament going up, right? So there will be more duty-free vehicle permits, there will be more concessions, so there will be more family members coming in. Just imagine our politicians deliberate been in Parliament, politics for 30 years. So how many duty-free car permits? How many? So every 6 years previously, now 5 years, they receive a duty-free car permit. Then they get the wife appointed as the coordinating secretary or the private secretary, the daughter, son, you know, friends. There are people. You just check the list, check the Parliament list. So if people are allowed to enter Parliament for a day, they will not leave. They will remain.
But if you were for a day, let's say that you do you remember that journalist in England who became a Member of Parliament for one term? He was just, I forgot his name, he was dressed all in white, I think Martin Bell, and he took on Neil Hamilton. over various issues. And he did contest Neil Hamilton's seat. Neil Hamilton, of course, the man behind the cash in brown envelopes syndrome with Mohammed Al-Fayed, at the time the owner of Harrods. It's a sensational case, really, and he was found guilty and so on. But anyway, this supporter, I think his name is Martin Bell, can't remember, and if it isn't, sorry, but he came forward and he said he was going to contest and be a member of Parliament for one term because he wanted to focus on this sort of corrupt issues that were going on then. In that context, do you think Shamindra Ferdinando might become a member of Parliament for one term? And if so, back to this question, because this person is asking this, if you do, will you accept a duty-free permit? Yes or no?
No, certainly not. Certainly not.
Would you do what Mr. Mustafa did? He didn't sell it, but he got a loan and he got the car and he's using it.
No, I mean, you should have asked him a question for us. I thought you should have asked him.
Yeah.
The Honourable Minister was referring to his term in this Parliament.
Yeah.
But what about the previous term? Right, so, see, a person, I am not referring to him.
No.
So take a MP who entered Parliament in, say, 1994 August. Right, there are a number of MPs who entered Parliament in 1994 August, Parliament reports. So, how many elections then? So, every term, a person receives a vehicle permit, a duty-free car permit.
Yeah.
So, he or she must have sold the permits over the past several years, past 20 years, but retained this permit. So, if you check, if the public, if the opposition political parties properly, use the Right to Information Act, they can demand, they can ask for information pertaining to all the MPs. Now, among the people, among the honourable members of Parliament who sold his permit, which he received this time, is Mr. Chaman Rajapaksa, the former speaker. He is among 20 members of Parliament who have sold their permits, transferred to another party.
But I believe that they love to do that, even though that position has been challenged in court now. There was a circular in the Rajapaksa administration that permitted, I think the circular came through the Treasury Secretary at the time, and it allowed them to sell, because there was a 5-year block before. They removed that block, and then of course the then Treasury Secretary imposed I think it was a 10% fee on first registration when you went to the RMV, calculated not at the concessionary rate but at the higher amount.
Now this time,
yeah,
these 20 MPs, they have transferred their vehicles, the ownership, on the same day they received it.
Yeah.
The same
well,
day.
yes, but that's what I mean. The rules, and I think Mr. Mustafa alluded to this as well. We'll have to do it.
They are the lawmakers.
Yeah.
So they feel free that they can break laws in this country.
Or make them to suit themselves.
Obviously, no. Obviously,
Yeah.
They simply do whatever they want to do. Now, see, a person, a former commandant of the STF, he's in remand now.
That's right.
Abuse of a state vehicle.
But I'm very good that you mentioned that.
Now, if he did something wrong, he should be punished.
Yeah.
But then people expect
it should be the same for everybody, though.
Everybody. Now, see, you take the bond scam.
Yeah.
The company involved, the responsible, they say that they have got 10 billion rupee profit during 14 months.
Yeah.
Now, up to now, they have not even, at least suspend, at least. So it's like, it all depends for us. It depends.
In the case of former DIG Sarat Chandra was in charge of the STF, the commandant of the STF. We're told, some of the papers say it's 140,000 rupees and so on. And so he finds himself in remand. But there are others, and nothing's been done about them. Why is the law so partial? It's supposedly impartiality, isn't it, that matters?
Yeah, I mean, I recently attended 30th anniversary celebrations of Ravia, where former Ravi editor with Taiwan, in the presence of President Sirisena and Prime Minister Wickremesinghe, he castigated the judiciary. So, I mean, Vic Taiwan said nothing has changed. It's the same system, the same people. And he urged the President and the Prime Minister to appoint a commission to inquire into this matter and to change the system.
Another viewer is asking, should duty-free permits be given to public servants and doctors and so on? Should they be withdrawn?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Do they deserve it?
Certainly.
Why?
See, there's a difference between the duty-free permit facility given to the members of parliament and doctors and others. See, for members of parliament is unlimited. Now, as an example, Jaffna district TN MP Dharmalingam Siddhartha received 44 million rupee tax exemption.
Yeah.
But the doctors will not receive that. It's far less. It's far less.
This is all difficult, indeed. If we were to move on a little bit and go back to this business about the media, obviously there's some unhappiness in terms of the media in the minds of Prime Minister. He's lectured us, or lectured the media anyway, on writing certain types of editorials and so on and so forth. Is this all good? Is this all good fun? Is it all right for the Prime Minister of the country to wag his finger at the media?
The Prime Minister
likened one of them to toilet paper, I think, as well.
No, I mean, all governments, not only this government, not only this Prime Minister, all governments control media. That's the truth.
Or they try to.
No, they suppress media. You know, in the 80s, the mid-80s, early 90s, we had censorship. That, I don't know whether you were in this business at that time for us, that we had to write our copy and take it to the competent authority, where he or she censored, deleted sections of our stories.
Maybe that's what they want.
Not today, you can't do that.
There's a correction from a customs officer who is known to me, that the MP's permits is actually not unlimited, it's $62,500, and the others is $45,000. It's limited to that. But how on earth you can buy a certain type of vehicle for $62,500 is beyond.
Yeah, see, now I can tell you, Dharmalingam Siddhartha, he bought a Hummer.
Yeah, but that's not $62,000.
That's the thing. So,
much more than that.
Yeah, so now Mr. Siddhartha received 44 million rupee tax exemption. So if your friend says that a Hummer could be acquired for that amount of money, I
think that's probably under invoice. That's another. It
yes.
warrants another investigation. So, Shamin, if I pose you a question, this government, does it appear that they are also corrupt?
Yeah. Watching you with Faisal Mustafa, you said possibly, you call the bond scam possibly the greatest
scandal to ever engulf this country.
So, you have said it, so that's it. I think all governments, this government is as corrupt as the previous one. That's my opinion. People may disagree with me, but you see, for us, that you see the allegations made against various sectors, the public sector, the private sector. Then the private sector and the private sector partnership in crime, corruption. How these people get together and do it. And the media also, allegations against the media, and they had never been investigated properly. A number of people on serious programs accused journalists of taking money from Avant-Garde and various other organizations. No proper investigation so far.
It looks like we need to have another session with you to discuss those matters. But in the meantime, this session's over. And Shamindra Ferdinando, the news editor of the Island newspaper, thank you very much for being on Newsline.
Thank you,
and thank you for viewing this program. And we look forward to seeing you same time, same place, tomorrow morning. In the meantime, take care, have a great week ahead, and God bless.